Hey guys, it is time for Bollock this evening, and I had to lean in because my microphone was too far away. I linnied it to start the show.
Doesn't your voice carry?
Yeah, voices carry.
Right.
Yeah.
Keep it down now.
That was an 80s song, right? All right. Well,
I'm gonna have to figure out who that is for trivia tonight.
Sorry?
I'm gonna have to figure out who that was.
Oh, you're mumbling amongst yourself over there.
Yeah, right. Had nothing to do with us.
I thought you were participating in the show, but no.
No, not yet.
It was a
I'm
conversation.
still trying to find the damn show.
It was a conversation you were having with the most intelligent person in the room. Yourself.
Thank you so much. I would have shared that with you. Okay.
Bollocks this evening, and we are in the
Bozard Ford Studio. You may say, though. But
damn right we are, and I got to tell you about the great people at Bozard. For over 75 years, Bozard Ford Lincoln has been a trusted name in St. Augustine, built on family values, honesty, and doing things the right way. With over 1,200 vehicles to choose from, no surprise pricing, and a drive-happy guarantee, Bozard makes car buying simple. You got lost again?
I can't
Simple,
get it.
stress-free.
Oh,
by the way,
hold on.
Lenny's stressing out over sharing the show. And that's
No, the
the
show
Bozard
shared.
difference.
I just couldn't find me. All right, we're back.
Their state-of-the-art facility features 91 climate-controlled service bays, a quick lane for no appointment maintenance, and over 40 mobile service vans to serve at your convenience. Ford's Garage is right there on site. If you want to grab a Jiffy Burger, go right ahead. Just off I-95 and State Road 16, Bozard Ford Lincoln. They're driven to inspire.
I think a little Blake told me they renamed the Jiffy Burger.
It is no longer the 904 Now Burger.
The nerve of them.
Yeah, well, Pete and Davey are no longer, had all three of our names on there.
Right.
And they're no longer here, so we'll have to work our way back into the Bollocks Burger.
We could do that. There you go. Now we're talking.
There you go.
So, made in the USA, Synergy Power Solutions designs innovative portable power systems that can replace traditional fuel generators, or certainly make them work smarter. By saving fuel and combining reliable energy storage with solar power when it makes sense, Synergy Power delivers efficient, mission-ready power anywhere it's needed. Their rugged, proven systems have been fielded worldwide and trusted in the toughest environments. When power matters most, count on Synergy Power. Call 800-793-4364. Synergy Power Solutions. Smarter power anywhere.
All right. You want to talk about smart power?
Okay.
You go to these guys. Abear, Kresge & Associates for trusted financial guidance with a personal touch. Turn to Abear, Kresge & Associates, serving St. Augustine since 1989. With over 125 years of combined service, their team offers expert services in tax planning, estate and trust work, business valuations, payroll, and more. Whether you're starting a business or planning for the future, they deliver smart, customized solutions that grow with you. Call 904-460-0747 or visit AbearKresgeCPA.com. Abear, Kresge & Associates, where your success is their mission.
So when you did a quick check of the weather this morning, it was a nice day and it's going to get windy later, and it's actually beautiful out now.
Yes.
So when comfort can't wait, homeowners trust Powell Heating and Air, serving St. Augustine and the surrounding area. Powell offers expert heating and air conditioning service 24 hours a day, 365 days a year, with flat rate pricing and no overtime fees. From new system installations to emergency repairs and routine maintenance, their skilled team services all makes and models. With a fleet of trucks and fully stocked warehouse, Powell is always ready to help. Call 904-794-COOL, C-O-O-L, or 904-794-2665. Powell Heating and Air, your comfort is their business.
All right. And if you're not on maintenance plan going into the summer, you need to give Powell a call.
Yeah.
You need to be on that maintenance plan and keep your air conditioner. You want to make it last as long as it can last. You know, in Florida, air conditioners have a lifespan, a lifespan on them, and Powell Heating and Air makes that lifespan last longer than any other company out there. So give them a call.
Yep.
Good time to call them right now before you really need to call them.
Right. And I switched to them, and they were great.
Yeah, they're very professional. Always there when you need them. Just really enjoy those guys as partners. All right. Other partners that we have Meehan's Irish Pub coming in next week to talk about St. Patrick's Day, A.D. Davis Construction, St. Augustine Distillery and Citygate Spirits, A to Z Roofing and Waterproofing, Anastasia Diner, Moultrie Creek Diner, Brightway Insurance, St. Augustine Pirate and Treasure Museum, St. Anastasia Construction Group, and we already talked about Synergy Power Solutions. Appreciate each and every one of you guys. We do have a couple of spots open for sponsors on the show on Bollocks. So just reach out. You can reach me at troy904now@gmail.com. And I'll tell you all the details where you can be a part of our team. And hey, Lenny, how you doing, man? Happy Hump Day.
I am doing well, thank you very much. Today's my long day like your long day because you make me wake up at 8 o'clock in the morning on Wednesdays.
You wake up to get the Stoidum stat.
I do, and it was a fun show this morning too. Yep.
You wake up to get the Stoidum stat, so we appreciate you you finding out about the Stoidum stat, and I learned something in my readings this morning, and hopefully other people did if I explained it properly.
You did.
Okay. All right.
You did.
Yeah, and that's the hard part of being on this side of the microphone.
Right.
I always question. I know what I wanted to get out of my head, and it hits me really hard on Troy's 2 cents.
Right. Well,
like I have certain thoughts and certain messages each week. I want to make sure I get across. Well, and then as soon as I'm done, I'm like, and Blake will attest to this. As soon as I'm done, I was like, did that sound right?
Well, you're smart enough to at least write yourself an outline. And that was one of the questions I was going to ask Mr. Milgus yesterday was, does he work from an outline? You know, we got into it when we started talking about the 3x5 cards and index cards and, moving them around a little bit. And I think that works really well. He was explaining for scripts and TV production and movie production.
It was almost like it was like a storyboard.
Right. You know? So, I don't know, because I think some writers will just start with a very big outline and a lot of blank spaces and then fill in those blank spaces to build out their story. So I'm not quite sure. But that was interesting. But I know that you do that. You give yourself a little bit of an outline for your 2 cents.
Yeah. No,
it keeps you focused.
I have it written in my little purple marker on my whiteboard, and it has about three words on each one with some bullet points.
Right.
To try and make sure, okay, I need to get to this. I need to, and it might say something like, one of the things might say, listen to learn. It might say, create your masterpiece, however it goes.
Whatever the theme of the day is.
But usually once I start, all that's kind of out the window until I kind of can get a glance at it and collect my thoughts again.
Right.
Because in the way I read, I have to process it. All over again and then restart my brain.
Right.
And all this is happening in 2 minutes. Right. So it's like I said, it's one of those situations where you kind of get through it and then you go, did I say everything I wanted to? Because you kind of get lost in the process.
Well, the beautiful thing is you can always come back next week with 2 more cents.
Yeah. Add 2 cents.
That's exactly right.
You almost have a plum nickel.
So get a 2 cent plane.
Yeah.
You know what is a 2 cents plane? Seltzer.
Okay.
Yeah.
I did not know that. Yep. All right. Today's topics. What else do we have? We have Roosevelt's offspring.
And Wager Wire.
Do we have anything else that is a must talk about today?
Well, you didn't bring up anything. You didn't bring up anything other than.
Are you underwater?
No.
You heard the gargling, right?
I heard it.
You heard the gargling, right?
It was a little fishy.
That wasn't your normal talk. I
was trying to drink my beverage of choice before I was asked to answer anything. So during the pre-production meeting, those are the only 2 main things that we discussed about.
All right, because we got a lot to talk about,
and we can vamp anyway. I did read today that Bill Gates is behind a company called, I want to say, TerraPower, that is just got federal regulatory approval to build a small nuclear reactor in, I think, Wyoming.
Okay.
And this is, going to be the wave of the future because they're doing small ones. And I was just reading the other day that they moved a nuclear reactor. They flew one from the West Coast to someplace else the other day to move a nuclear reactor. And this is going to be the future with AI sucking all the energy out of the world now to keep those things cool and make fake things happen. They need power.
Why is Lenny's camera off?
Here I am.
Did you move it today?
Lenny's
He's on the tape.
He is right on my belly button.
He's on the tape. But okay, that's a little better. You weren't on the tape.
all right. Here,
I was close. damn half inch.
This much.
A damn half inch. Right, exactly.
But that's how OCD my brain is.
Okay.
That I picked up. You weren't.
Right. It was right. It was off balance. He's back.
He's back. He's seeing it too, because he's seeing it also. Yeah.
Thank you, Blake.
Understood. So it's from the Chronicles. We got thrown off a little bit today.
Right.
Is what you're saying. All right. Sorry about that, Blake. I mean, my dad's OCD took over in that situation.
That's all right. He's invaluable to the organization.
Yeah. Oh, that's much better. That makes me
Look
so.
at me. I'm centered.
That makes me so happy. Thank you.
just want to double check. Do you look fine as well?
I think I'm good.
Good.
I think I'm good.
All right. Sorry, Lenny.
Hat
Continue.
seems to be right in the middle.
It's okay.
Small nuclear reactors
Right.
is the wave.
So-
but they're moving a nuclear reactor.
They moved one the other day.
This is what I want to
They
hear.
flew one from the west coast to the east coast.
Blake,
Look at that for me, because you
did they
typed
put
fast
it in
earlier.
a pod? I mean,
I think they put it in a crate and they put it on an airplane of some nature. So I don't know how they did it. It was a small nuclear reactor. I don't think it was like pocket size.
Mm-hmm.
And that is the wave of the future. These little mini reactors. This one that they're working on, though.
Okay, and my brain is
Okay.
boiling right now. It's like a nuclear reactor itself. So, what would the dimensions of a small nuclear reactor be? We'll let Blake do that portion of it. So, Blake, if you can find the dimensions of the small nuclear reactors that Bill Gates is working on,
And one one that was just moved in the last week, maybe 2 weeks at the most.
See, I'm thinking 3 Mile Island. I'm thinking Chernobyl.
Oh no, that's the whole thing with these things. So they're getting them smaller.
The big silo. You
Well,
know,
it's the
that's where
containment
my
is the
brain.
problem, right?
All right.
The cooling towers.
So Bill Gates' designed TerraPower Natrium reactor is designed as a 345 megawatt sodium cooled fast reactor, roughly 1/3 of the size of a standard 1,000 megawatt nuclear plant. It's intended to power over 40,000 homes.
Right. Now the point
Okay,
of it
but
being,
it didn't give me the dimensions.
right. And you didn't find the one that got
'cause
moved last
I don't know
week.
what 1/3 of the other one, because in my brain, like I
16
said,
acres.
16 acres. Not that small.
they didn't move 16 acres.
No. But Blake, can you see if you can find one that got moved last week or the week before, please? But this one is. Pardon me. The one that they're working on now, which by the way won't be ready until it's either 31 or 38. So they've got a bunch of time on this. But the thing with this is it uses light water instead of heavy water to perpetuate the reactions and move it and cool it. And they use sodium, liquid sodium.
Nuclear microreactor flying a Valor Atomics unit from California to Utah using a C-17 Globemaster 3. This 5 megawatt mobile unit developed to power 5,000 homes or military bases will be tested at the Utah San Rafael Energy Lab. The move is part of the Nuclear Renaissance initiative. The reactor was transported by a C-17, flown from March Air Reserve Base in California, the facility near Salt Lake City. The purpose was to demonstrate the rapid deployment of nuclear energy for defense and civil application. The next steps, the reactor will undergo evaluation at Utah's San Rafael Energy Lab in Orangeville. Future operations, full commercial operations are targeted for 2028 with the goal of enhancing energy security.
Okay, so that was a small one that's going to do, what did it say, 5,000 homes?
5,000, yep.
Okay, now, just to give you a visual perspective, submarines are nuclear powered. So you know how big a submarine is. They're fairly large, but they're not, aircraft carrier large by any stretch.
No.
They're bigger now than the Nautilus used to be, and I saw the Nautilus when I was a kid. So those are have nuclear reactors in it, and the aircraft carriers today have nuclear power.
Yeah.
So like the Ford and the
Roosevelt?
I guess the Lincoln and the Roosevelt, all have
The big stick?
yeah. They're powered by nuclear reactors, and they're on the ship someplace, so they're not that huge anymore.
Yeah.
And they're efficient. They really are.
But I mean, I don't know. I don't think I'm alone where, like, a child who was alive in the late 70s, the Silkwoods and the 3 Mile Island and Chernobyl, which was huge, big facilities, and even Homer Simpson.
Yeah.
So I mean, I'm thinking of big facilities.
Well, you've got those huge cooling towers. And when I was in school at Cornell, I coached the women's soccer club. It wasn't a varsity sport until my senior year. So
until the 40s.
Yeah, a couple of fraternity brothers of mine and I coached the women's soccer club at Cornell, which made it very easy for my fraternity to get dates for formals and things like that. But we played an away game at Rochester. And we're there, and I was uncomfortable for the entire game because
is it Rochester or Rochester?
I'm coming, Mr. Benny. Rochester.
Okay, because I think
Mr. Benny.
I think you said Rochester, and I was like,
no, CH, not a K.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think you said it rock like a hard K.
Right. Yeah.
And I was like, have I been saying it wrong my entire life?
It's Rochester.
Okay, Rochester.
No, Rochester.
Okay, Rochester.
But we're playing there, and I keep looking over my shoulder because right there, we were playing next to a nuclear power plant, and this is right on the shore. I think it was Lake Erie. And, you just got these cooling towers, and this was 1979. It was not a comfortable feeling seeing those things there and the steam coming out of them. So.
Yeah, and you feel much more safe today than what you did then.
And the positive thing about them is they don't contribute to global warming in theory. They run
until they do.
Well, exactly. Until they melt down, right?
Yeah.
They run day or night. They're not weather driven. They don't need sunlight. They don't need wind power, so that works. But they take a lot of space, and if they go bluey, they go bluey in a bad way.
Yeah.
So. But it's interesting. I mean, getting smaller nuclear power. Well, first of all, the smaller ones, are probably a lot more efficient nowadays and is good. But the question becomes the security. What about the spent nuclear? That's a question. How do you get rid of the spent nuclear fuel? What are you going to do with that? Are we going to dig another salt cave somewhere in Nevada and dump it in there? Because that's the only choice we have right now. Because you don't repurpose it after a fashion, and the half-life is going to outlive all of us.
All right. Quick Google. Sorry, Jamie, I'll have to call you after the show. Quick Google report. Nuclear power provides roughly 10% to 13% of Florida's electricity. Okay. The two main plants operated by Florida Power and Life, FPL, producing over 3,000 megawatts of clean energy. The operational plants are in St. Lucie and Turkey Point, while Crystal River, this is the only one I knew about, is undergoing decommissioning. FPL is seeking to extend the licenses there to operate for nearly 30 more years. So right now, there's only two in Florida.
Right. There's one in Georgia. The most recently built one, because they haven't been building them for a long time. So the most recently built one, from the article I read today about the TerraPower people, is in Georgia.
Yeah, well,
starts with a V. I don't remember the name of it. University
of Florida has a research reactor there, but it's not used to produce energy.
Right.
It's for research. So the four reactors that are in place are St. Lucie, Turkey Point, Crystal River, and University of Florida. So I only was aware of Crystal River because the water stays pretty warm there,
right?
And that's where a lot of the manatees go,
right?
So
and they glow in the dark.
Yeah.
It's so nice to find them at night. it's a day night kind of trip. It's the Vogtle, VOGTLE, and Plant Hatch. That's another one. Southern Nuclear, Georgia Power. It was the most recent one put together. It's in Waynesboro, and is the largest generator of clean energy in the U.S. with 4 active units. And that was the most recent one, got approval and put in place. Plant Vogtle, VOGTLE.
All right.
But these are, these use heavy water and they're water cooled. The thing with the sodium, the liquid sodium, is if there's an issue, they don't need to water cool it because it works at a lower pressure and lower heat. They can just air cool it by opening vents.
Okay.
So there's a whole lot of positives to this. On the other hand, like I said, this thing's not going to come online until the early 30s.
Yeah.
And they're situating it right next to a soon-to-be decommissioned coal plant that will overlap for a couple of years before the nuclear power plant comes online. So it's new technology. They're working through the development stages of it, but it's got potential. We just got to wait long enough.
No, it's and it looks like also they're talking about with Florida is they're talking about if this works with the 2028 and these smaller nuclear plants that they're testing with the military, they're going to be used at military bases and hopefully make it a little more mobile to put energy into some of these more challenging locations
For sure.
So,
and it's interesting because we're playing catch up on nuclear energy. I mean, 3 Mile Island slowed us down forever and ever. And we're kind of dumb in where we put some of these things. They built, Diablo Canyon out in California, I think it is on a fault line. You've got Indian River, I think it is in New York. Indian Point in New York. And that's like, just outside of Manhattan. I mean, they're not like safeguarding these things and keeping them away from real live people. The Diablo Canyon in California is a spooky one because it literally is on a fault line.
Gotcha.
But, Europe is primarily nuclear power these days. Or they try to be anyway. France, I know, certainly is.
Okay.
That was another goofy thing. We're in France.
I did hear yesterday that France surrendered.
Again, still.
Yeah, they didn't
Often.
realize they were not part of Epic Fury.
Well, I'll tell
But
you.
they went ahead. They're like, let's get ahead of the game. Let's just go ahead and surrender.
Right. I'll tell you who's not part of Epic Fury and is catching the wrath of the man in orange. Spain.
Yeah, the prime minister screwed up there.
Well, so Donald Trump is now shutting off all commerce with Spain. We're not going to talk to.
Well, don't take our money.
Right.
If you don't want to be our ally, don't take our money.
Right. Exactly.
Okay, Spain? I mean,
Right.
I'm sorry.
Right.
I don't have a lot of sympathy. Don't take our money.
Well-
Financially, you're not doing great. You needed money from us. We gave you money, and then you say, oh, no.
Right. Did we give money to Spain?
Yeah, we give money to everybody.
That's very true. But Spain's screwing up. Where I will say Spain is screwing up is they're really slow paying their contribution to NATO.
That's
And they're trying to get them. I mean, everybody needs to do 5% of their gross budget nowadays, and Spain is creaking into 3.5%. And Metz in Germany is going, guys, you got to pony up. Come on, we're all doing it. Get your skin in the game here a little bit. So Spain has not played nice with NATO, unfortunately.
They're not paying their bills.
No, and
So-
and that's ridiculous. And that's one of the things.
And they want that protection, but they're not paying
Right,
the bills.
that's exactly right. And you know how I feel about Donald Trump. But I will say, and I've said this from the day he did it, the best thing he's done in a long time was getting everybody to pony up their fair share of the NATO contributions because we were sponsoring all of that. And everybody else was under our umbrella. And it's about time they paid their own way. And I've said that from the day he did that. And I admire that. And I think that was the right thing to do.
Yeah.
So Spain, get your shit together and start paying.
Oh, yeah.
300 million.
Hey, hold on one second. I got some breaking news real quick. I just got a notification from the St. Johns County Sheriff's Office here. Sorry to interrupt.
Go ahead.
Discussion here. There apparently is there was a shooting near Crimson Leaf Drive and Johns Island Parkway. They are expecting to have a press conference, a media briefing later tonight.
Okay. Can you give us an approximate location of where that's at, Blake?
Yeah, sure.
If you don't mind
Sure.
mapping it out.
Sure, I can map that out for you. Let me
Well, I
see.
can vouch for you and you can vouch for me.
Yeah, I think we're good. We're covered.
We have witnesses.
So it looks like it is just east of the. So it's south of the golf club at Southampton. So it's next to St. John's Parkway. So it looks like it is south of County Road 210. So north of us.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. Spain is not one of the major recipients, but it is a recipient.
Oh, everybody is right.
Yeah.
Well, by the way, so now you know that we are now have boots on the ground in Ecuador. For a man who wanted to get involved in nobody in America first,
Well,
we're up to our fourth military engagement in like a month.
Well, I can tell you when we were in Ecuador, the people that were politically savvy that I had conversations with were asking for the U.S. to get involved in Ecuador because they've had so many different regime changes,
Right.
and the oil is their number one, and they felt like they were getting bullied
By the oil companies?
by not just the oil company is part of the government,
Okay.
but the cartels were infiltrated
it, yeah.
into the government, and that oil is their survival.
Right.
So someone has to protect their oil
And that's what
against the criminals.
And we went in to help them. Special forces went in to help the Ecuadorian military roust out some of the cartel people.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, it has to do with the oil and it getting to the Galapagos, and
the oil goes to the Galapagos?
it goes
We're gonna have to send a whole bunch
to the
of-
coast.
Okay, we're going to have to send a whole mess
It,
of...
it goes to the coast. They don't send it to the island
Okay,
itself.
good.
But in that general direction.
Can you imagine have get the oil off of one of them big giant tortoises?
Yeah. So.
You need a lot of Dawn for that.
Oh man. Yeah.
That's a big squeegee.
That's a big toothbrush you got to do is there.
Yep.
Yeah.
That stuff works great, man. It saved a lot of birds, a lot of waterfowl. You know, that was it. You know, you get the poor little ducks and birdies, and you throw them in a pot of Dawn and get their skin and feathers all cleaned off of that oil.
It's only 300 million is what we give to Spain. Only 300 million.
Bag of shells.
Yeah. Yeah.
Nothing.
Only 300 million.
Right. Well, compared to the 40 billion we gave Argentina, you know, it's an economy of scale.
You know, and we have been in the billions before, so it's down to 300 million.
Right.
So,
and part of this became also because Spain right now has a socialist government. They're one of the few left-leaning governments still in Europe. Though I don't know what you want to call France nowadays. But
they don't know what they are.
They're confused. Exactly. They really are.
They have so many non-French-born people there right now.
Yeah.
They don't know who they are.
Well, and Spain said, look, we can't survive without immigrants. You know, that's our labor force. And they are figuring out every which way they can to naturalize them or legalize them because they need them to survive from a labor point of view.
Yeah.
But, you know, we have two bases. We have Rota and a second base in Spain. And Spanish said, we don't want you, you know, using this to go and attack anybody else. You know, we're not involved and don't get us involved in that. So we'll see what happens because now we can't buy Spanish olive oil, apparently.
All right. Do you know who our number one recipient
Of the most money in the world that we give away?
right now, currently?
You'd like to think it's the Ukraine, but I don't believe that it is.
It is. It's by
Okay.
far.
Good.
By far the Ukraine.
Good. And
So
they
it's
need
almost-
the help.
And guess who's number two? Who we in this fight with?
Oh, yeah, Israel.
We're protecting our investment.
Yeah, Israel.
Yeah.
Right. Who, by the way, the Mets kicked their ass in baseball today. Just saying. Got to go for the Mets. And if you look at the box score, you know, there was an interesting bunch of names playing for the Mets. So,
Yeah. All right. I got Roosevelt kids and we got Wager Wire.
all right, let's go with Roosevelt kids.
Roosevelt kids. All right. So one of the most interesting people in our history is Teddy. Teddy fascinates me. You know, the more I read about him, the more I like this guy. He died at the age of 61, but he lived life to the fullest. He had 6 children. One from his first wife, Alice. And Alice and Teddy Roosevelt's mom died on the exact same day.
Right.
Sent Teddy into a deep depression. Alice was born 2 days earlier. Alice, the daughter, was born 2 days earlier. Mom's name was Alice also. And a lot of times you didn't get your name until like a week later or something like
see what
that.
the kid looked like.
Yeah.
You know?
And you didn't get your name until a week later. But Alice, his daughter, had to go stay with Teddy's sister while Teddy had to go find himself in the Dakotas.
Yeah.
So he left. He was already in the House of Representatives at that point, had to say, all right, I got to step away from this. He went to the Dakotas for a couple years and comes back. When he comes back, he meets Edith.
Yep.
And then they start having some youngins. So
Bunch of them.
almost immediately.
Whole basketball team.
So he already has Alice. Edith is going to raise Alice. Then they have Theodore Roosevelt Jr. in 1887. They have Kermit in 1889. They have Ethel in 1891. Archibald in
Archie
in 1894, and Quentin in 1897. So to start with Alice was the character of the group. She was very rebellious. She was very outspoken. She was a smoker. She liked to gamble. She'd be caught at the racetracks. She drove her own car, which was completely unheard of for a woman.
She was a feminist.
Yeah. Good
for her.
She was not beholden to any religion and was very open about being agnostic and being almost atheist. And at that time, that was really not heard of. But Alice lived to 1884, and she died in 1979. So I was 12.
Almost 100 years.
I was 12 when Alice passed away. And if I do the quick math, what was she, 95?
Yeah, 95, 96.
Yeah, she'd have been 95 she'd have been 90. I think it's 95. But probably one of the most rebellious children out there. And she loved animals, and a lot of the animals tore up the White House because of Alice's animals. All right. Next on his list, his next child, 3 years younger, Theodore Roosevelt Jr. Now, Theodore Roosevelt Jr., he fought in World War I and World War II. He died during World War II as a brigadier general. He was one of the leaders of D-Day, and he received a bazillion different medals, but he was a brigadier general. And in between World War I and World War II, he served as Assistant Secretary of the Navy and went back in. He was in reserves, went back in for World War II. So, pretty good career.
Service, exactly.
Pretty good career. I think he died at the age of like 56 or something like that.
We can put him against Todd Lincoln.
Yeah, Todd Lincoln. Okay, we're not done.
No, keep going.
He's got more kids.
Oh yeah.
All right, Kermit, not green with envy. Kermit Roosevelt, he was an author and explorer. He's also served in both wars. And Kermit had a little bit rougher time. He's the one who went to the Amazon with his dad in Brazil, and they all almost lost their lives. He's the one who didn't leave his dad behind, even though
kept saying, "Leave me, leave me."
His dad was telling him to leave me. His mom, Edith Kermit. By the way, he was her favorite.
Well,
okay, and we're gonna get to Teddy's favorite in a little bit. Insisted that he'd go with his dad, and thank goodness she made that, or Teddy's not making it back.
Home. Right?
Yeah, because that was in 1913, 1914.
Yeah.
Or Teddy doesn't make it back. But Kermit, unfortunately, constantly dealt with depression and melancholy, or whatever they call it, and he took his own life in 1943 at a military base in Alaska.
By the way, if you have any interest in hearing the story of that trip to Brazil, it's called The River of Doubt by Candace Millard. It is one of the most engrossing books I have ever read. If we didn't already read it, it would have been a next book for our Bollocks Book Club. But it is just, first of all, she's a phenomenal writer, and I want to read her book on Garfield.
Gotcha.
The woman writes so well. And this one was a real easy one because both Kermit and Teddy had a contract with Scribner's to send dispatches back from this trip down the Amazon that was supposed to be a couple of weeks and ended up being almost 2-3 months.
Yeah.
Because they were looking for a river, which is now called the Rio Roosevelt. The river is named after him now. And it was called the River of Doubt, is the name of the book. But it is an engrossing tale of phenomenal courage and downright just a ballsy way to survive that stuff, what they had to do. I mean, they're in the middle of nowhere for a long time.
Yep. All right. Their next child is Edith. All right. Edith is the youngest of the daughters. And she was 10 years old when her dad went into the White House. And she, during World War II, served in the Red Cross, fought for a lot of nursing rights. She served as a nurse in World War I in France, in the same hospital. Her husband served as a surgeon. Okay. So her and her husband were in the medical field, and she served and became involved in the Red Cross during World War I. And she actually served over 50 years.
Wow.
In the Red Cross. So both wars, Red Cross, and just another incredible woman. Her husband,
whole family. Her
husband was Richard Derby, who was a surgeon, and Richard evidently had a great career in the medical field.
Probably so successful they named a hat after him.
Yeah.
And a race.
I think that was the city, but
all right. All right. If it was brown, it would be a restaurant in Los Angeles.
Yeah, it was very, very nice steakhouse, right?
Yep.
All right. The fifth child, also, he was born in 1894. Also passed away in 1979, and that's Archie. That's Archibald, and Archibald Roosevelt served in both wars. And what makes it interesting about him is Archie, got a Purple Heart in World War I and got a Purple Heart in World War II. He got injured in both.
He didn't learn to duck after the first war? He didn't learn to duck for the second war?
Come on, Archie.
Come on, pal.
He shot himself in the foot in the first one and then shot the other foot in the second one.
No, he did not.
No, that's not true.
No, he did not.
That is not true about Archie at all. He was a true war hero. He was a Harvard grad.
Like his father.
Yep. And he served as an infantry captain in World War I, and he made it to a lieutenant colonel in World War II.
You know, the service in that family. Yeah.
Seeing the pattern. All right. And Teddy's favorite was Quentin Roosevelt. Now, Quentin Roosevelt was considered the most intelligent and the one who was considered the most like Teddy.
Okay.
Unfortunately, Quentin was at Harvard when we entered World War I. Quentin, at the encouragement of his dad, he went to his dad and said, "Hey, I want to drop out." And his dad said, "You need to do what you need to do." Encouraged him actually to do it. Said, "You can always go back."
Right.
And Quentin dropped out. And unfortunately, Quentin and Theodore Roosevelt Jr. both died during a war. Quentin died in World War I. Theodore died in World War II. And they both died in France.
And was one of them in a plane shot down?
Yes.
One of them was a pilot.
Quentin was the pilot.
Right.
He had shot down 2 days earlier. He had shot down his first two enemies, and then he got shot down 2 days later. So he's the only president's son that has died in battle out of the 47 presidents.
Interesting.
So because of, the other ones died. Like Theodore died during the war,
right?
But it wasn't
skirmish,
because of not because of a skirmish that was going on.
You got to think long and hard to think of presidential children that had actually served in the military.
Yeah. And he was given full honors and buried where he was shot down. Mm-hmm. Like they were respectful of a former president's son, where he was killed. So
yeah.
And they did exhume his body and moved it to another location in France, and I can't think of exactly where it's at. I can't see it. So
yeah, sadly there's a lot of American cemeteries in France. A lot of fields of white crosses. Mm-hmm. Occasional Star of David.
Oh, and Quentin once brought his a pony into the White House to cheer up his brother Archie, because his brother was terribly ill, and him and Charles Lee, the White House coachman who helped him.
There you go.
A grown up actually helped him. Brought him to the room by elevator. So they put the horse in the elevator.
Small horse.
They put the horse in. It was a pony in the elevator, and just so that he could make his brother smile, Archie smile.
Because at the turn of the century, those elevators were not very large at all.
I got two of them that were built in 27.
Right.
So
Yeah.
So I understand
They're
that.
working now?
Oh yeah,
Got 'em
they're
fixed?
working great.
Outstanding.
They're working great.
Well, I told you before we got on the air that I've been to Sagamore Hill a couple of times. It's in Oyster Bay Cove up in New York. It was Teddy Roosevelt's house. He built it in 1880-ish. And if you walked through there, you didn't have to question whether the man was a hunter or a conservationist or anything. You couldn't turn or take 3 steps without seeing some type of stuffed animal, antlers, bearskin rugs, fully stuffed polar bears standing up and looking menacing. There were turtles and birds and everything. I mean, it was a naturalist's dream to be in that house. It's phenomenal how it was. There's not a lot of empty wall space in that building.
Yep. All right, and this is we talked about this before the air. He trained at Long Island at an airfield that is now renamed Roosevelt Field. So
Right.
so
Which is, by the way, a shopping mall.
Shopping
Right,
mall sits there now. So
Because that used to be, it wasn't Floyd Bennett, because that's in Brooklyn. It was, it wasn't Islewild, because that's JFK. But it was something before it was Roosevelt Field, because that's where Lindbergh took off from.
yeah.
That one or Floyd Bennett. But I think Lindbergh took off from there. Might have been Floyd Bennett.
Where did they do?
The
I think he took off from Mitchell. He took off from
right,
Mitchell,
which is Floyd Bennett. Yeah.
Lindbergh took off from Mitchell
Right.
because I did a couple national softball tournaments there, like ran them. I wasn't playing in them. I was the organizer of it and ran them. And I remember it was Mitchell Field was right attached to where the Pan Am games were. So
Yeah.
and they had just rebuilt them. Probably, hold on, Blake, look up what year David Wells threw his perfect game. I think it was 97.
1998.
98. Yeah. So I was there 2 nights before when who was the lefty, that steroid guy for the Yankees?
Steroid. Andy Pettit.
Andy Pettit. All right. So
Poor Andy.
yeah. So Andy Pettit pitched on Friday night, and 2 days later Dave Wells threw the perfect game. So I was there 2 days early. So
Okay, so we've got a little confusion going on here.
what's that?
Well, it was called Hazelhurst Field.
Okay.
It was Roosevelt Field, and it was named after Quentin,
Okay.
not after Teddy.
Not after Teddy.
Nope, it was named after Quentin,
Okay.
who was killed in combat, and that was in September. They named it in 1918, and according to this, which is AI, and it could be hallucinating, so don't doubt it. They have that as where Lindbergh took off from.
Oh, okay. All
So-
right. I don't know. I think we'd have to look at that, but I thought it was Mitchell.
Yeah, because I always thought it was Roosevelt Field.
Well, I mean, and I thought it was Mitchell just because that's what people told me when I was there.
Yeah,
So I don't know if I've ever done any research. I just nodded and smiled and have repeated it since 1998.
hey, I have a horrible question to ask.
Okay.
Do you think that, and now we've got a war going on in 2 or 3 places, so poor Nancy Guthrie is now out of the news. Do you think her kidnapping is going to surpass the Lindbergh baby kidnapping as one of the more intriguing cases of forever?
No.
Okay.
No, I don't think it'll last because, and it should, because every life matters.
Of course.
But she's a woman in her 80s, and we're talking about a toddler.
Yeah. Right.
So I don't think it'll be there.
Just curious because of the notoriety and the lack of, and now, at this point in time, is there any hope that this poor woman is still alive?
I don't know.
I don't think so.
She's
I mean,
been,
it's
she's been so
frightening.
long without her medication,
Yeah.
and so
It's just
It'd be
a horrible
great. It'd
situation.
be great if it ends that way,
Right.
but I'm very doubtful. So
Yep. So he left from Roosevelt Field. Lindbergh left from Roosevelt Field on May 20th, 1927 at 7:52 in the morning. And he just got his fuel-laden plane over the phone wires and electric wires at the end of the runway. So the fact that in 1927 there were telephone wires at the end of the runway is impressive in its own right.
yeah.
So, yeah. And that plane now is in the Air and Space Museum of the Smithsonian. So we were in Washington a couple of years ago.
Spirit of St. Louis.
Yep. So we're there, and
It's kind of pushed back.
this is the saddest thing.
Yeah.
Because it used to be suspended. The first time we were there, it was suspended, and that was when they were just building or doing the Air and Space Museum.
Yeah.
And now it's a magnificent, sprawling complex. But they were redoing stuff. So you got the elevator, and there's a little post with a little sign that said Spirit of St. Louis, and it's literally, God's honest truth, in a corner by itself with nothing. It was just like they parked it out of the way.
Yeah.
It was so disheartening for that plane, which, by the way, was not a very large plane to begin with.
No, it was a pretty small plane, but it was. We went there, Blake, when you were in 8th grade.
Yes.
So.
But the only thing I can remember from that one from going to the Air and Space Museum was, unfortunately, one of my classmates tripped up on an escalator and she actually had to go to the hospital to get some stitches.
Oh yeah, I remember that. So I remember the ride that was in there that spun us around and we were like flying.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh,
Was I the one flying?
No.
And that's why I was awful.
No. Well, we did it twice. You flew once. I flew the second time. We crashed with you. So yeah. All right. Wager wire.
yes, sir.
All right. Baseball season's about to start. We got.
I'm looking forward to that. World Baseball Classic.
World Baseball
Yeah.
Classic going on. What's the chances of the U.S. not winning?
You've got Japan.
Is Otani playing?
Yeah, Otani's playing, but
He's not pitching though.
Right, he's just hitting.
Yeah, he's
Oh,
just
He
DHing.
was doing one or the other. I don't remember if he was doing both.
only a hitter. Designated hitter.
Just DHing.
Yes.
Okay.
Which, by the way, he can influence the game anyway.
Yes.
But you got Aaron Judge marching around with USA, very spread on his very broad and large chest.
Yes.
So, he's pretty happy about that. He's psyched, Aaron Judge.
Yeah.
So that'll be interesting to see. And it was interesting because they were going down the roster, and there's a couple of geezers on there. You got Harper, and there was somebody else. Schwarber, I believe. But
Did you say geezers because they were actually Phillies and you hate the Phillies?
no, because they've been playing baseball for 37 years, and they're old men.
Yeah. To me, Schwarber is the most overrated baseball player in.
Yeah, he hits a home run and does
baseball
nothing. Yeah.
In baseball today.
Yeah, I agree.
I'm going to make a bold prediction.
Okay.
All right, and he seems to be a super nice guy. Like when we went to the Cubs game, he was playing left field. He was very interactive with us, and you remember that, Blake?
Yeah, I did remember that.
Yeah, super kind, interactive, appreciated the fans. But I'm going to make this prediction that this is Schwarber's last year in the major leagues.
Yeah, I can understand that because, he didn't get a whole lot of takers for his free agency this year. And he went back to Philadelphia.
Yep. So I'm just making that prediction because he's an out or a home run.
Right.
And the home runs are going to start fading, and when they fade, he's gone.
Right. And he doesn't field well.
He's great. He's Greg Luzinski with a batting average 60 points lower.
Okay. Oof.
I mean, Greg Luzinski hit 260. Schwarber hits 200.
240? Yeah.
No, he hits 200.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
that's a lot of dead weight waiting for a home run.
Yeah. So, and a lot of times they had him hitting in the leadoff spot.
Yeah.
So,
He ain't catching Ricky Henderson.
but is there any game besides the Japanese-U.S. game that you're looking forward to?
Not so much. Does Korea have a team in it?
Yes.
Okay, so that could be competitive.
But the only thing
And
is,
what about Cuba? They letting
yeah.
Cuba play?
Cuba's in it, and actually there are some MLB players that defected from Cuba playing for Cuba.
Okay. El Duque, is he still pitching?
No.
He's their pitching coach.
Right. I hope so.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, would you expect that this year would be the year? I mean, because every time this happens, one or two of the Cuban players tries to climb over a fence and
He did hit 240. So
That's
okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
2 years ago, he hit 197.
Okay. I can almost do that.
Yeah.
Almost.
I can bunt 197.
Yeah.
And I got one bad leg.
I was going to say, and your wheels ain't there anymore.
Yeah.
But, every now and again, you play an international tournament, and these kids are going to climb over a fence and claim, asylum and try to stay in the United States. You think with what's going on in Cuba now, these guys are looking for the hole in the fence? I would think they certainly are.
I think you're going to see at least one defection
At least.
at this event from Cuba.
The entire starting lineup, if they can get away with it.
Yeah.
So, and the coaches will say, we're taking the bus.
Well,
let's go that way.
And I can tell you this. I mean, the stories about Cuban players that have tried to go through Mexico and the cartels paying their way and doing that stuff. I mean, the stories of, what was his name? Yasiel Puig.
Yeah.
Whew. I think he still owes a lot of bad people money.
And he was good for about 20 minutes and then never lived up to his potential, unfortunately.
He was good for about 6 at-bats.
Yep.
And
had great expectations.
And he was a guy you wanted on your team in a fist fight.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, when the brawls broke out.
Strong man.
When the brawls broke out, you wanted Puig on your team.
Yep.
So, all right, yeah. So Schwarber, here's his consistency the last 5 years. 240, 248, 197, 218. He only had 134 at-bats in 21, and he hit 291. So, yeah.
Yeah, he's way overrated.
Yeah. I think this might be his last season in the bigs.
But what
and he's
kind of-
30. He's 32, 33 years
Right,
old.
but I'm not going to hold the telethon for him because what did the Phillies pay? What did the Phillies pay him?
Oh, he's still getting 16, 17 million
At
or something like
least.
that. So, all right, the team I want to see is how Venezuela does.
Okay, it's another bunch of people looking to climb over a fence.
So I want to see how that team does. A lot of those are already Major League Baseball players. And I think USA is just stacked. If USA doesn't win this one, I'm going to be disappointed.
They got a lot of people.
Yeah. What you got?
I guess $15 million signing bonus. Schwarber's averaging $30 million a year.
That's incredible.
Well, because they signed him to a 5-year, $150 million extension in 2020 in December, in just December. So that's nuts.
That's
Well,
ridiculous.
it depends on what was guaranteed. So what did it say? 30 million, 50 million signing guarantees the full $150 million. That's in 25, and they're expecting him to play until 30 through the 2030 season. He's going to be the next Bobby Bonilla.
Pay me $2 million, I'll hit 100. I think that averages out to being about right. So.
That's nuts. They expect him to.
And I can definitely play better defense than him, and I'm 58 years old.
You know what? He's a lot younger than I thought he is.
He's 32.
Yeah.
He's 32. That's what I'm
He'll
saying.
age out at 38.
Yeah, but I don't think he'll even come close to finishing that contract.
No. Well, he's just, he doesn't.
So
And he looks like an old baseball
congratulations on your money. And like I said, he interactions we had with him in Wrigley, he was a really good dude. So
Good. That's fun. Well, look, you know what? That's the thing. The interaction between baseball players and the fans is better than almost any sport that's professional sports out there. Hockey, you got the glare.
NASCAR.
Can you hear anything?
No, but like.
But if you can get into the pits.
But if you're there and the pits are accessible, they're accessible. They fully appreciate the fans more than any other sport. Golf, I think, has gotten better since the whole live thing. It's like, wait, we really need our audience. But baseball to me, through the minor leagues, which I think is the training ground on how to handle yourself and being a professional. It doesn't happen in the NFL. It doesn't happen in the NBA. It doesn't even happen in the NHL.
No.
But the minor leagues training of how to communicate. In the minors, you learn how to communicate with fans. You learn how to deal with the media. And then you're prepared for it when you get to the bigs.
And spring training is quasi-casual enough that you can interact with the fans when you're not in the middle of the season. You're not playing a game that matters necessarily for standing. So there's a lot more ease during spring training for the players and the fans to interact.
Yeah, a funny story. My buddy, who was my college teammate and lived with me in the off season, Rob Ducey, who played with the Blue Jays. I met a young kid, 13 years old, and he was pudgy little guy, and he was dressed in a Blue Jays uniform. And Rob comes over, and Rob always kind of had, a kid heart. The kids kind of were attracted to him. And I was like, "Oh, who's this?" And he goes, "Oh, this is Prince." All right, Prince Fielder.
Oh, okay.
So I met Prince Fielder when he was like 12 years
Woke up
old.
Barbara Jean.
Yeah.
She heard Prince and goes, "Whoa, where?"
Yeah, Prince Fielder.
Right,
I met him when he was like 12 years old with the Blue Jays with my buddy Rob. Cool fact about Prince and Cecil:
Right.
they hit the exact same amount of home runs.
Really?
Yeah, I think it's like 333.
339.
339. The father and son hit the exact same number of home runs.
It's very cool.
And that puts them, they're number 3 on the list, right? Of home runs with father and son.
Yes.
Because I think
Barry and Bobby.
Barry and Bobby are 1. I think the Griffeys are 2.
Okay.
And then I think the Fielders are.
What about your buddy who bounced the ball off his head? What about the Canseco's?
Well, they're brothers,
Oh, not father and son.
not father
Okay,
and
fine.
son.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that works.
they're twins.
Right.
Probably of twins.
There you go.
They probably
Okay.
have the record.
All right, that would make sense.
Yeah. So, all right. Well, we're at the end of the show. We got trivia tonight. We need to get over there. We want to say thank you to all you guys. Tune in the morning. We got some great stories for you on the Stoidum. Make sure you know the Stoidum stat when you get there.
I will.
All right.
River of Doubt by Candace Millard. I recommend it highly.
Wave and smile, Lenny.
Bye, everyone.
Wave and smile.